All right, but before we get into that, let's bring on Tony. Tony, how's it going?
Hey, how are you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Great.
Awesome.
How are you, buddy? I like the new look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like the
Thank
professional
you.
look over there.
I mean, you miss a couple days of shaving, the itching comes and goes, and then you're like, hey, why
Yeah.
not?
No, man. You know what? We had you on. I don't know when was it? Maybe 8 months ago, right?
Was
And we
episode
obviously
20.
love you. You're my man in LA. But welcome back.
It's great to be here. Chris, Sergio, this is my favorite show on my YouTube. You guys give great advice. You do it all the time. Chris, I appreciate you being on the East Coast. It looks like you got a little sun. We don't have any sun in LA right now. It's the weirdest summer ever. But I love you guys both, and you've helped me literally financially, and I've always had love for Uber and Lyft, but you guys have helped me actually make more money at it. So I hope everybody who's watching understands the main reason I am here today is because I love these guys and they give great advice.
Well, it's all mutual, as you know. I keep in touch with Tony quite often. And to plug his piece, when I was in it about a year and 4 months ago, he has an amazing blog or website called Here, HEAR in LA. The link should be in the show notes. He goes around LA to all these small neighborhoods and does these amazing interviews with artists and with an Uber driver like me about a year and a half ago. And so I owe him where I'm at today just because he discovered me first. Like, he's the first producer director of mine.
Well, in a weird way, it's an extension of my ride sharing experience. I had written for the LA Times. I'd written for all these LA-based media outlets, and I've lived in LA since 1984. But I didn't really understand LA until I started having to go to every nook and cranny and day and night and meeting all these people I would never have normally met before. And so I know there's a lot of hate surrounding rideshare, and a lot of it is justified. But one of the blessings that I think drivers who've done this for at least a year really appreciate is that we do get to see our city and our county and our state in a different way by having to go to all these places.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the importantly is, you were just starting driving, actually. No, maybe not. Maybe about a year ago, you started driving Uber again. You had driven before, right? You took a sabbatical, and then you came back. And I know, I really, Tony is one of those people that he loves driving. I mean, definitely not an ant. Okay, definitely.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Old habits are hard to break, man. I don't know.
Only if they're showing the right money are you not you become an ant. Otherwise, you're like, no, I'm looking at it a little bit harder.
I think this is a great topic to talk about because especially with Uber's bonuses and Lyft's bonuses, in a weird way, I think it benefits the people who the no surge, no ride philosophy, theory, strategy is interesting. But when you're just trying to get shorties, as many shorties as you can, it changes your perspective on how you want to approach that particular day based on your bonuses. Would you consider that being an ant if you're just taking little $3 trips?
We're on our second segment, when obviously you're going to hang out, you're going to see how I entered to get the money. Look, you have to be a hybrid these days. In my day, the good old days, right, Tony? I mean, you get out there, surges through the roof, multiplier is here, we're just killing it out there, 50, 60, 70 bucks an hour. Look, things have changed. You cannot get those. You have no control over that stuff, right? We cannot get those days back. But sometimes now you have to ant. And if you don't ant, you're not going to get the money. So, we'll find out how much my anting helped me versus how much it helped Lyft.
Well, you know what? I got to change. I think we got to change it a little bit. I don't think it's an ant per se, because you're still selective on the rides that you're going to take. First off, you're not taking any long ones. You're looking for short rides. But when it comes down to it, you're going to accept some that might be that $3, $4, or $5 one that's, kind of on the fence, where you'd be like, no, I'm not really going to take those unless there was some sort of bonus there. So I'm going to take this to like a sports analysis, because I think a lot of rideshare drivers that are ants are the ones who are standing there watching. They know what's going on. They know the rules of the game, sort of, but they're there more for the spectator. They're there more for the fun of it, or whatever they're there for. For the ones who are actually taking advantage of everything, they're the ones who are out on the field playing at the moment, because they're playing the game that's going to win them the money versus the other companies winning or not. And that's kind of exactly what happened with Sergio with what we're going to be talking about in a couple of minutes. But yeah, I think that's kind of more so what it would be versus not, because yeah, your entire stance of what you want to go out and achieve during that particular time frame is going to be much different than any other time if there's no bonus or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, so let's talk a little bit about you didn't drive for a while, right? You were doing your thing, and then it's like a addiction. I mean I drove last week, 20 hours. I'm like, people go like, oh, you guys don't even drive. I'm like, hell yeah, I drive all the time. And then if not, I drive, I do food delivery. I like it. It relaxes me. It really does. So you came back at a time that major changes were happening, right?
Yeah.
From our time and distance version of the pay model, let's say, we went to something called upfront fares.
Yes.
So you had your battles with upfront fares on both platforms for about 8 months now, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the whole thing? Like, do you think we should keep it around? Do you think we should get rid of it? Do you think we should adjust it or amend it a little bit for all the time lost because the app doesn't adjust upward when the trip goes longer, because they say it's significantly longer or a lot longer, which is vague as it is. We don't even know what that means.
Right.
So what do you think? So what is your impression of upfront fares since you started?
I love the upfront idea of knowing where you're going to go. And I understood at the beginning why they didn't let us know where we were going to go. Everybody was afraid we would only go to the airport, or we only go away from the airport, whatever it was, whatever those theories were, turned out not to be true at all. When you have a big amount of drivers, there's going to be some people that want to go south and some who want to go north. So everything's going to work out. The riders are going to get the ride. The adjustments mid-ride, I have less of a problem with getting stiffed on getting stuck in a little bit of traffic and they only give me 50 cents or $1. The issue I have with upfront is, and I think I sent this to you, Sergio, the other day, was the multiple stops. So it's I think what I sent you was the beginning address was their house and the ending address was their house, and it said 44 minutes. And the price was also stupid. It should have been a lot higher. But sometimes it's multiple stops and it's actually a decent fare for what the time is. But you wanna know where those other stops are. And Uber knows, but they just won't tell you. And so that's the biggest issue. That issue, and also when a passenger adds a stop or adds a destination or changes the destination mid-trip. I don't think that that's fair for the driver without some sort of either penalty or you can do that if it's okay with the driver, and we're going to tell the driver how much they're going to make off the deal.
I have what you're smart, obviously, as you are, and sensible sensible driver. You don't complain a lot, but when time comes to complain, if Tony complains, there is something wrong. Okay, let me tell you that. So here's the deal. So what do you think about this formula? This I had in my head. Hopefully we'll talk to some executives of these companies and run this by them. Okay, so the ping screen comes in 10 miles, 30 minutes. I accepted that at that price. So we have a contract. Yes?
Right.
Now, the passenger halfway through changes it to somewhere that's 20 extra miles and another 45 minutes, and Uber adjusts by some black box algorithm that I have no idea how they're adjusting, right? How about on those trips? Or I get stuck in traffic detour and their GPS systems did not pick it up to send me the correct upfront, right? Let's say the trip lasts 10 extra minutes and same distance, but 10, 15, 20 minutes extra. As we know in LA, that's very easily done, right?
Yes.
How about this? From the second the original ping ends, right? Meaning You sent me the trip for 10 miles and 30 minutes. Okay. On the 31st minute, you start paying me with the old rates, which was 60 cents a mile, 21 cents a minute, which we were accepting. We were taking those trips anyway. So you extend the trip going like a taxi meter, right? So your meter has run out from the 31st minute to the 45th minute. The adjustment should be with the old time and distance rates. What do you think about that? It's easily done, right?
Not only is it easily done, but Uber's still going to take a good cut out of that.
Absolutely.
And the passenger probably isn't going to mind because they're paying for the convenience of not having to get another Uber, and for our ass waiting for them or doing whatever we got to do. Everybody knows that when you make adjustments, you got to pay. But Uber's the only place where, whatever you want, man. You're in the car, you're the boss. And sadly, the onus is on us now in this weird, uncomfortable situation where the guy's in the back seat, and we've got to be the bad guy. Plus, they get to give us a 1 star if they don't like how it went down. And so, no. Yeah, I want more than even double, Serge. I want maybe a $5 flat plus something.
Because
Serge,
as a passenger, when they change their trip, they are really getting ripped. I'm telling you, they are. They are getting ripped like royally. Okay, and we're seeing maybe 10% max, 20% max of what they're paying on the back end. But that needs to get fixed. I agree with you,
Serge. Though the one thing though, I got to take that away and say no. You know what we got to do? We need to see the upfront fare estimate. Exactly that, an estimate, but based off time and distance.
Okay.
And hey, if I'm going 10 miles, 30 minutes or whatever it is, and something happens on the way, maybe there's a detour, maybe there's extra traffic or whatever it might be, I want to know that I'm going to be compensated. Then on top of that, if there's surge, I want to know the surge is in addition to, not somehow maneuvered and manipulated into the base fare. I don't want all this extra crap, these things that are affecting the base fare itself, just to kind of condense it and coalesce it all together into one hump. No, I want it to be all flat out there, an estimate. And then that way I know if we go a little over, oh, okay, no problem. But that also gets rid of that whole rate rebalancing for long trips, for short trips, for all that crap. It just gets rid of it all again. And it just puts out all one flat foot. That's what it should be. That's where it is. Again, I like Seattle. Seattle's where it's at. And Washington State. I mean, they're doing it. They're showing the upfront information. They're getting paid well. And, you know, they know if they're going to be longer or if there's additional stops or whatever it is, they're going to be compensated fairly for that. I think that's only fair to bring it to everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You know, they're having troubles, obviously, you know, with legislation all over the country. But so far, they beat the legislation in Colorado and they beat it in Minnesota. You know, it happens. You know, but we just got to keep fighting. So, you know, we're going to go into our topic list. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on your end, buddy? Now, somebody said, Chris, the link is not in the show notes. I think
it's in there.
Chris just put it. So here in LA, I'm telling you, people, you know, our attention span these days is down to 15-second TikTok videos. Okay. If you want some good content, go Tony's here in LA. I know some of you may not be from LA. Actually, better yet, you will discover LA without coming to LA because it's so in depth and it's so well done. And you know, here in LA, I go there all the time. I mean, I actually, by reading it, I'm discovering things that I didn't even know. So there you go.
Same when I talked to you, Sergio, you taught me about where you live, your neighborhood, Granada Hills, which first of all, I thought it was really far away. And it turns out it's not even that far away, especially in the afternoon. It's like a suburb of the rest of America. It doesn't really even feel like LA unless you turn around and see the beautiful hills that are near you. But the vibe is kind of a suburban, if not a little upper middle class suburban style, that a lot of times the perception of the valley is not any of that. Yeah. And so I'm here to kind of dispel a lot of the myths about stuff. I'm also there in a selfish way to learn myself about these places that I should have known about before. But we're about to hit our 100th episode. This is we're about to go to our second year anniversary. It's been a dream come true. I've gone to 46 neighborhoods so far, and I want to hit all 300. It's going to take me 25 years to finish this.
Holy crap.
And driving Uber helps a lot in doing this because some of my passengers now are some of my Uber passengers. So one of the guys that people might like to hear about is a guy who I picked up at a grocery store. He was going to his home in Northridge. He is a drug addict who went to penitentiary for 6 years for robbing pharmacies in Orange County.
Shit.
Yeah, and building a group of kind of desperate people to manage so that he could teach them how to rob the places, so that he could get the OxyContin and the money. And so it was like this whole thing. And again, this is why I love Uber. I hear his whole story in like a 10-minute drive, and I'm like, bro, you want to be on the show? Because people need to hear this.
I agree, man. You know, I agree with you. I agree with you. So,
and he said yes. Thank God, he said yes. So I got a couple.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.